Pickaxe.
Five-day early access to every Cast Party episode, including Nocturne, ad-free episodes, behind-the-scenes info, exclusive bonus monthly one-shots, access to our community Discord where our community plays D&D games together, has game nights, and hosts so much more, all for less than the price of a single cup of coffee per month. Aren't convinced? Try out a free trial. 7 days free to check out the content that we offer only exclusively on our Patreon. Patreon.com/castparty. Support your favorite D&D podcast, all while getting some awesome perks. Patreon.com/castparty. See you there, cast and crew. Welcome, cast and crew, back to Nocturne, A Curse of Strahd Tale. My name is Ryan McManus, and I will be your director for today. You can find me running the Cast Party socials at Cast Party D&D or on my personals at Ryan.McManus. And I am joined today by my lovely cast and crew, split up for the 1,000th time in a 15-episode series so far. We have Vince.
I'm Vince Perino. I play Theren, the Man of Hope, seeking retribution. You can find me at Dr. Stoice on all the socials. That's Blastoise without the bleh.
We got Christian.
What's up, guys? It's me. I'm playing Tannis, a chain forged in blood. And you can find me on all of my socials at Captain Carlson in some form or fashion. That's captain.carlson on TikTok, cpt.carlson on Instagram, and cpt Carlson on Twitch.
We have May.
Hi, I'm May. I'm playing Zielle, and she's here to slay in all meanings of the word. And I'm May LaFay on the internet.
And back for his 5th introduction, we have Jose.
I am Alizzato Incubo, and I am easily the greatest and best robust beard in Vallaki.
You can find me in all socials as DM Jose G.
With y'all split up, I think it's time to recap what went on last time. You all spoke with Irina as you broke the news of the 89 dolls commissioned by one creepy dude. Clearly unsettled, Irina decided to stay put until you met with the Wachters she'd take refuge in the church. With limited time and a whole list to get done, you figured that completing 2 jobs is better than none. The party split. Ollie and Tannis left for intrigue, while Theren and Zielle met with Father Lucian to speak about the missing bones, and into the crypt they went. But all you found was dust, really. Nothing that extravagant. But in that dust lie a work boot of sorts. You've got your culprit, straight from the source. You found it to be Milivage, who digs graves and tends to weeds. He lives at the orphanage in town, but hasn't been seen in weeks. Heading towards St. Andrew's orphanage, we moved to the boys, having a heart-to-heart in the street about Tannis's party and their joys. Ollie promised protection with a sense of yearning for camaraderie as you approach the large Wachter house, ready for a bit of armed robbery. No, JK, you were just there to talk, as a servant let you in before sticking chicken noodle soup in a pot. Fiona greeted you in a lavish parlor, but as she looked towards you, she tried to look farther. "Where's the rest of you?" she asked with curiosity. A puzzle piece was missing as she held back her ferocity. For she was after the blonde one, but why, you're unsure, though you sat by the fire and began to converse. Tannis spoke of his distaste for how Vallaki was run, gathering Fiona's full attention, her eyes gleaming brighter than the sun. Her delight ended with a question, the smoking gun. "What are your plans for the Festival of the Blazing Sun?" As we hear a slam on a door, and Theron's knee racked with pain, as an elderly woman swung it open, yelling at you too with disdain. You tried to sweet talk, but poor rollers be rollin' poor, so the caretaker asked, "What were you really here for?" You said you were here to check in on Millie, and her demeanor softened. A soft spot for the boy who was currently bedridden. Walking to his room with a dozen kids screaming, you found a young man lying in his bed, hopefully dreaming. You awoke the lad with shockingly tender and care. Through bated breaths and squinted eyes, he did stare. You provided him a breath and a washcloth for his fever, as he muttered the name Henrik, the so-called bone retriever. With name in tow, Theren and Zielle went to leave, but noticing similarities on the kids left them both in disbelief. Light bruising on arms as a young girl scratched at her back to reveal gnarled, sharp teeth marks. some sign of attack. And we are going to start inside the orphanage with Zielle and Theren walking past the couch just along the backside as this teenage girl is currently reading to the group of children surrounding her, wandering about, playing with Baron, trying not to let him leave, as she reaches for her back and scratches just at her lower back. But in doing so, pulls up her shirt slightly, where Zielle, you were the one to notice these jagged and sharp teeth marks.
Have we seen any other adults in the building?
No, other than Milavage. Millie would probably be the other eldest in the orphanage, aside from the headmistress that opened the door and let you guys in.
If I can do it fast enough, I'll like grab Theron's arm and do like a small little point at the girl whose back I see with the bite marks. And then I believe I saw another child that arm was bruised too.
Yes, you also saw a group of children playing at the dollhouse on this southern end, and you noticed the light yet similar bruising to Milavage's arms. Not like covering the entire arm, though you can see little splotches here and there that are what you can assume to be currently forming, or almost faded.
What do you make of that?
Doesn't look right.
If whatever was happening to Milavage was magical, I mean, that girl has a bite mark.
It looks like more than a bite. I'd like to go over to her as she's still scratching her back. If she's still scratching her back, tap her on the shoulder to reassure her I'm not doing anything bad.
She is startled by the tap on her shoulder, given that you are coming from behind her over the couch, as she looks down at the children sitting and listening to her story. Just one moment, everybody. Hold on. Closes her book shut, peers over her shoulder. Is there something I can help you with?
May I?
What exactly?
We were sent by the church, by Father Lucien, to come check in on all of you. We couldn't help but notice your injury?
Seems like you have a small wound that we may be able to help with.
Oh, I just assumed it was a bug bite. It's itchy back there. Wound?
May I take a look?
Please. As she leans forward, as indeed you lift it up and you can see the long, jagged teeth imprint of something that's definitely not human.
Does it hurt?
No, like I said, I just thought I had a bug bite.
How long have you had this?
A day or two, I think.
Has anyone else said anything about bug bites or irritations of the skin, maybe? Because I know Milavage also, he didn't look super great either.
Yeah, I'm a little worried as she looks up to you. This is just a half-elven teenager. She's got long blonde hair, very kind, soft face. I've been a little worried about everybody because of how sick Millie got. But they assured us it wasn't contagious, and he's been stuck in his room anyway.
Has everyone else been getting sick, or is he the only one?
No one's sick. She leans in a little bit closer to you, Theren. I've also noticed that some of the others have these marks, like the bruises, but I just chalked it up to kids playing and running around, rambunctious.
How long have you been noticing these?
They're sporadic, maybe 3 weeks, a month. They come, they go, and yeah.
Do they all look the same?
For the most part, but I guess we haven't really, it's hard to tell which one are made by the kids and which ones are just showing up.
Who is they? They who told you that it wasn't contagious?
Oh, that was the headmistress, Claudia.
Do you like headmistress, Claudia?
I mean, like is interesting word to use for Claudia. I mean, she's the only source of punishment around here, so it's kind of hard to like her. I think that's why everyone likes Millie so much, because he's like the kind-hearted one. Some of the kids call Claudia Miss Witch, just as like a playful nickname,
Did she do anything that is magical or anything like that? Some of my friends can do magic spells.
Oh, I don't think she can do magic.
Interesting. Well, thank you for telling us the truth. Your secret's safe with us. And she'll put her finger over her mouth.
Don't let Miss Witch get me. Sorry, bad joke.
Zielle and Theren were just like, funny.
Miss Belasco's probably in her office. If you need anything else, I guess let me know.
Thank you.
Before we go, have you noticed any other children that have bigger wounds than yours, or newer, fresh?
No. Millie's got it the worst of everybody. I mean, things have been kind of weird here. She's gonna stand up and walk around the couch and come to you guys almost in a little circle away from the children. We had an incident a couple days ago. Leading up to this, there's been a lot of, the kids are having night terrors. It's hard to keep everyone quiet during the night.
All of them?
Yeah, myself included. If it's not me, it's one of the kids, and if it's not one of the kids, it's one of the infants. It just seems like we can never keep them quiet.
And what of the headmistress?
I don't know. She sleeps down here, so we don't really hear her.
What do these nightmares consist of?
I don't know if anyone remembers them. I don't remember mine, at least. The only thing I remember is just feeling stuck. Like I can't move a muscle, and then I'm trying to scream and I'm trying to just call out for help, but I'm trying and I can't wake up, and then when I wake up, that's when the scream comes out.
I think I've had that nightmare too, actually. Nightmares are just a product of stress, you know, and Millie's sick, and I'm sure you're all just worried about him, and...
Worried about him, and there's a lot of work to pick up now. I'm trying my best, and a couple of the other boys, the older ones, we're trying to help out around here. It's been hard, and we're losing funding, and we don't really have anyone to hire and help take care of everybody. So it kind of falls on us, aside from Claudia. We're just doing our best to stay afloat, and that means helping out one another.
Is the orphanage just funded from donations from the church, or does it have a private donor of sorts?
I don't really know. I assume that someone paid Claudia, but that's why Millie works. Everything Millie earns really comes back here.
Can I pull 2 gold out of my pocket and put it into her hand?
Absolutely.
Whether this helps you hire some extra work for a day or two, or even just buy yourself some treats. I hope this is payment for you helping us, so we can help you.
That's so kind.
Well, you were kind first. I actually would like to go check one more thing I forgot to check on Millie, if that's okay.
I can come with. That's no problem.
Thank you so much. What was your name?
Vanda.
I'm Zielle. Nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure, and thank you again.
I'll turn back down the hall to check on Millie. I know he just went back to sleep, but my plan is to gingerly check if he has a bite mark anywhere like hers. If Theren could kind of lift him a little and I could just like peek and make sure.
That's kind of what I was expecting you to do, so I would definitely aid gently so we don't disturb him.
As you guys enter Milivaj's room, Theren, you attempt to slide the covers down the best you can, trying not to wake the lad. Zielle begins to do a once-over, and I would love a medicine check with advantage, please.
19!
There you go. As Theren begins to slide the covers down on Milivaj's left side, you're noticing the bruising. As he's moving Milivaj over to the side, Theren slides up the shirt just a little bit more to get access to the skin. On the underside of his ribs, more towards his back, almost like on like his lats, you do see a jagged bite mark, similar to the one you saw on Vanda.
Something is feeding off of the children. Do we just confront the headmistress? Surely she must know, unless she's a victim too.
We can't just bring it up immediately. We gotta try to get something out of her.
You want to be subtle now?
Subtlety is key, after all.
Is that because the door didn't work for ya? Perhaps you should lead interrogation, because I don't want to say something out of line, because these children are injured.
He better be there with me, though. Here's the hoping.
I love to hope.
Grabs for the handle and pushes the door open.
No knock required. As you twist the handle, it gives fully. As you creak open the door, we are going to move to the boys in the Wachter house. The last thing that Lady Fiona Wachter said to you all, sitting and huddled around the fire, Alizzato, you were standing behind the couch in somewhat a bodyguard position, hovering over Tannis, who was properly, perfect posture, sitting upright, legs crossed, playing a character. Lady Fiona Wachter said, "Do you have any plans for the Festival of the Blazing Sun?" As Jacob walks in to the parlor, soup in hand on a crystal platter, makes his way over to the dining room table and begins to set bowls down in front of 3 separate seats. In case you guys are interested, the meal is here. It's warm, so I suggest you partake soon. I will leave you to your conversation, thank you. As Jacob bows to the 3 of you and begins to head back towards the stairwell that you all came from. Well, shall we partake in a meal, or shall we chat by the fire?
I would love to partake in a meal if it's all the same. Chicken noodle soup is one of my favorites.
I don't believe Jacob's made this for us, so it'll be an interesting try. As she stands up and brushes off her dress and begins to waltz towards the dining room table. The long, extravagant table, though shadowed at the extravagancy of Strahd's table, is still regal. As she takes a seat at the head and gestures you to any spot that you would like. There are 2 chairs on either side and 1 on the opposite head.
I think for just a moment, as she stands up, Tannis is just gonna slouch and shake his entire body out just briefly. Okay. Whip back around, yank my shoulders back into position as she's turning to look and wave us over.
I am also trying to be some elegant squire. I touch my hand past the head of another chair until I come up to the next one, and when I grab that chair that's next to her, I just make it a point to drag it out.
And then I'm going to try to grab my spoon, politely eat this soup. Although I think that at this point, the character is beginning to sort of wear on Tannis. It's just sort of beginning to grow grating. But the smile is still, at least for the moment, plastered on.
I'm not touching the soup.
Noted.
My only question is, now, how good is the chicken noodle soup?
Let's test Jacob here.
Don't let me down, Jacob.
Yay!
You pick up your spoon. You have a nice spoonful. He seems to have done well as far as the additions in there. There's carrots, there's celery. You have the chicken, although it is bigger pieces of chicken than you're usually used to, as well as the noodles. Pops right in your mouth, completely unseasoned. The chicken is chewy. The noodles are almost stale. And you can tell the celery is a bit past its prime. Fiona looks up at you after just testing the broth. Yeah, it's not very good, is it? I thought you said this was your favorite.
You know, so sorry. Normally when we have it, there is, there's sort of a bit of seasoning involved.
Ah, he did make it quick, didn't he?
It was quick. But the attempt is very kind. I think that this has a lot of potential. I think that with a bit of seasoning, this could turn out really well. Actually, I think, I would say sort of in addition to salt and pepper, I would add some oregano probably, maybe some rosemary, something with some kick, maybe some paprika. I'm not sure. There are a lot of things. I'm getting carried away. So sorry. This was a dish that was an old family recipe, I suppose.
I'll be sure to pass along the notes to him.
Please thank him profusely from me for humoring a nostalgic fool. I miss home, so.
Where is home for you?
Have you heard of the Halverson family out from Corsair's Reach?
I can't say I have. Sounds extravagant.
Well, I wouldn't say extravagant, but we made do. I don't know how you would say it here, but we were B tier as far as the families went.
I can sadly relate to that here. Tannis, this is my home. This is where I grew up. This house, ever since. Passed down from my parents, before my husband and I took it over. Vallaki could be so much better. Don't you think?
I do. I know it.
Now, I will say, surprisingly, Vargas was at least better than his father, but that does not excuse his actions. So I will ask you two again, what are your plans for the Festival of the Blazing Sun?
A fearful glance meets your eye, Alizzato, as Tannis, a metaphorical drip of sweat rolling down my temple.
I'll catch Tannis's stare.
Well, Lady Fiona, for some reason it evades me. I don't know if I perhaps missed some communication in regards to this festival, but if I may be so bold, can you enlighten me as to what Vargas have in plan for the Festival of the Blazing Sun? I tread lightly with these kinds of things. So perhaps if you can enlighten me as to what this festival consists of, or perhaps what you and your family are planning to pursue with this festival, then I will indulge you in my plans.
I'm surprised you haven't heard of his theme, his shenanigans. In just 2 days' time, Vargas will be parading the streets with his newest idea of bringing the sun back to Barovia and illuminating Vallaki. A giant wicker sun he's made. Commissioned folks around town to build it for him. He's going to set it ablaze in the town square. It's an act. It's a show. However, the only issue is, only I can bring the sun back to Vallaki. The prophecy foretold it, and the stars are aligning perfectly, just as Madame Ava said they would, and this is where you come in. This is where Zielle comes in, where all of this falls apart.
Tannis looks shocked hearing the names and the potential of a prophecy, and then again, that laser eye contact hits you, Alizzato.
Can I make an insight check?
Absolutely.
How confident is she in this? Is she telling the truth from what I can perceive?
Please.
22, baby.
Attaboy. Alizzato, you know Fiona. You know the words she spouts. Some see it as nonsense. Some follow her every footstep. She is known to be a talker, and she is known to be very hard stuck in her beliefs. She has never been more serious than she is right now.
When she says that, Tannis gives me the look. Still glancing at Fiona, I managed to catch that, and my eyes meet with yours, and then I shoot back to Fiona very quickly.
Well, look at you then. Fulfilling prophecies and the like. Allowing yourself to really become a champion to the people. What do you intend to do? Hide this prophecy from the Baron and unleash the true power of the sun on the festival, hence revealing your true powers across to the people, or do you mean to use it as a bargaining chip?
Oh, it will not be hidden. The Baron loves his displays, doesn't he? So I intend to give him one. As she glances over to Tannis. Your distaste for the Baron is shared by countless residents of Vallaki more than you know. And I'm sure Alizzato has told you of the atrocities that this man has committed. Even if he has only spoken one to you, one is enough. While we sit here and chat, the shoemaker is being tortured, held up in the burgomaster's manor. He has scarred my family with his psychopath of a son, my dearest daughter, driven mad. He has forced this town's last smile. The only thing I need to know from the two of you is where your allegiance lies before I go further in description of this plan.
Look, Fiona, I am a gentle creature. Delicate, some would say. I find a bit of hesitancy sometimes when, many people over the years have come by and spoken of the Baron and his ways and his punishments, which I am clearly not a fan of. But I must ask you this. I will swear to you my fealty today at this table. If you can answer me this. You speak of the Baron in great distaste, as many others do, as you mentioned to Tannis here. But you also speak of Strahd in ways as if he is no longer around or won't show his face in this part of town anymore. And yet the Baron feels this need, this necessity to showcase and keep the devil at bay. Let the people be happy and rejoice. What will you do when Strahd comes to these lands? May not be today, may not be tomorrow. Give it or take 100 years from now. We'll all be there to see him arrive. What will you do when he shows his face around here? What will your punishment and sacrifice in the wake of this magnificent being be?
I don't see the need for any punishment. Let them speak of the devil, let them speak of Strahd. Let the man come to our doorsteps. He does not care about Vallaki, he does not care about this land. If he did, he would have been here. If for whatever reason the devil decides to show his face, so be it. I don't see him slaughtering the streets of any of the other villages in Barovia, so why would he do that to us? My plan is to bring courage back to the civilians of Vallaki, and let them deal with that emotion how they please. No more fear-mongering in the face of parades, no more torture, no more beatings behind closed doors, no more parading those in the stocks, no tomatoes, no fruits to be thrown. If he comes by, so be it. We will go with words, of course, first. If that does not fail, we act on Strahd's actions. If he comes and murders our civilians, gather the troops, and at least attempt to fight back. Though if a demand is met and I can meet it, I do not see why I would put my civilians in danger. Just for some negligent landlord.
I reach deep into my chest past the piles of leaves that have just been accumulated over, and I just kind of like dig in and I look at Tannis, and then I just pull out, all my leaves are orange, is red, autumn, fall kind of looking. I pull out one beautiful green leaf, put it on the table, and I just sort of slide it across to Lady Fiona. And then I let go of it. I take my finger and I dip it in the soup, taste it, make a face.
Then I am with you.
Her gaze goes from Alizzato, meeting his eyesight the entire time, and shifts over to Tannis. One down. Speak.
Tannis has a moment as he watches this conversation unfold. The honest acceptance of what is potentially a damning fate. I think for Tannis, there's a moment, a shift, realizing how brazen a soul has to be to accept death, but to act out in the face of it. To know that you're overpowered, but to smile in the presence. And to be willing to take away a fear-mongerer. To give people courage back. I think the path that he started on the way here, he's fighting with that course change. Do I be authentic? Do I continue the facade? And so for a moment, he starts with that smile, that fake plastered on smile. He begins to speak. But as the first words escape his lips, it just isn't possible. I think making eye contact with Alizzato, who is so genuine and open with him on the way over here and so willing to be vulnerable. He shakes his head. Look, in my youth I was nobility, and I understand the world that you come from. I understand the power plays, and I think that when I arrived here I wanted an ally. But I think the longer that you talk, the more I understand that maybe we're more kindred souls than we are allies. And I'm not a speaker. I'm not going to rally any crowds to my cause, and I'm not going to talk anyone into action. But I am useful. I am good at what I do, and what I do is not good. But I promise you that I will help you. I know that you are waiting for Zielle, and Zielle is everything that this cause needs. She's kind charismatic, intelligent, strong. She's a face people will rally behind. And if what you say is true about the prophecy, then all of that will just be icing on top of whatever cake it is that you're baking. But if you need someone gone, if you need a chessboard leveled, then I'm the piece that you play. Do you understand?
A smirk comes across the corner of her mouth as she leans forward, her elbows on the table, and places her hand over one another. Lucky for you, I've done the rallying for us. And the only thing I need is a blade. As we move back to the orphanage.
Can I do something as soon as Theren doesn't kick the door in and uses them?
Yes, you may.
I didn't kick the door in.
I said you didn't kick it.
I know. I'm just restating.
As soon as Theren very subtly barges into this room and the door is open and there's a line of sight to where I presume she's going to be. Maybe she's not, but that's fine. I'll activate it either way. I would just like to use my divine sense, which I do need line of sight from, or it doesn't work if they're behind total cover anyways, to sense anything affected by the hallowed spell or the location of any celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet. Just for safety, just for precaution.
I'm going to give this to you regardless, Zielle. As Theren creaks open the door, you see Miss Belasco sitting at the desk going over paperwork. As you clutch your holy symbol, Suni's love running through you, and you start to sense an interruption in the air and the auras around you. Looking at Miss Belasco, nothing comes of it, though you feel you are surrounded by the sense of a fiend. Lighter from where you came, but you can tell there's a source. As you open into Miss Belasco's office, yes, Vanda, is there anything... Oh, it's you again. Is Millie okay?
Fine.
Wonderful. What can I help you with, then?
Staring her down. Are there any chairs in the room?
There would be 2 chairs in front of her desk.
I will stomp my way in, slowly grab one of the chairs, and swing it around right in front of her, slam it down, and sit very gently in the chair.
And? Any kids pique your interests, or do you have to make your way back to St. Andrews?
Quite a few of them.
Wonderful. They're good kids.
Quite. They also seem to be very sick.
Well, Millie is very sick. The others have been having a hard time, to say the least.
Care to explain a little bit more about that?
Oh, I wish I could.
See, we've been talking to a couple of the kids, and we hear rumors. A few of them are having nightmares.
Oh, the night terrors and the screams, yes. Fills the air upstairs. Seems we can't go a night without having someone wake up.
Seems like all of them are having this issue. Are you yourself having this?
No nightmares for me, thankfully.
And has anything been done for the children to help with these terrors?
We're trying, but I don't know what the cause is. That is the issue.
Also, we noticed another thing. Bruises, marks, scratches, bites. Is this news to you? Or have you known?
Her face gets a little sunken. It's hard for her to make eye contact with you, Theren. I have known, yes. There have been incidents around, and we've just chalked it up to kids being kids, playing with one another, and can't say I've heard bite marks, but things have been interesting around here. One of which, and we had an incident a couple days ago of a child falling from the 2nd floor. The child, Cedric, is no longer with us. I have been doing my best to go through anything I can and figure out what might be going on. But ever since Milivaj got sick, it's been hard, and I lost my main help, my main assistant. So aside from working for the orphanage, I'm also trying to look into the night terrors and the incident with Cedric and everything.
Second she stops talking, Theron's going to very quickly stomp his feet down to stand up, bring the chair right next to her, slam it down, sit down again on it, and get even closer to her. What aren't you telling us?
Roll me intimidation.
This can be addressed after, but while he's doing the interrogating, can I kind of have a look around the room? Like,
Absolutely.
Here, I'm over here by the shelf.
That's a good old nat 20 for 25, baby.
Let's go, buddy. Hell yeah.
Let's go.
As you waltz around with your chair in this intimidating fashion, towering over this small, slender, elderly woman, walking behind her desk and planting yourself in front of her, she does begin to shake a little bit. Listen, I don't know what has been going on with the kids, though the incident with Cedric, I feel, is no accident. As she opens up a drawer in her desk, she pulls out a locket. This was found on the body, and I do not believe it to be of this world, or at least good in nature. The boy who did it has been, well, not been totally sane, to say the least.
Who?
A young boy named Felix, who came to us about a month ago.
Where is he?
He should be upstairs. He doesn't come down with the other kids.
The children sleep upstairs, right?
Correct.
I'm gonna mage hand, grab the locket from her hand, and hold it up in front of me so I can look at it while she's talking.
Absolutely. Give me an investigation check on the locket.
Another fucking nat 20.
Buddy.
Save some for combat, buddy.
It's turned around.
Save some for other doors, dude. Come
No,
on.
actually, that's
Yeah.
I saw the door. Jose, you goof.
As the mage hand, the tendril of Baron emerges from the sword on your back, over your shoulder, the purple wisp spiraling through the air. It picks up the locket, so you don't have to intervene in something that could potentially be evil. As Baron picks it up and places it in front of your eyesight, rotating it around, trying to get a semblance of something, the side is clicked as the locket opens up. There is a picture of a small red-headed child and two parents on the face. The lid that opens up, there seems to be a rune carved inside. However, when you look at the picture of the family, the eyes of the parents are crossed out in red.
After taking a good look at it, I will just have the mage hand send it over to Zielle to have her take a look at it as well, while I just continue to stare straight at her.
Zielle, Baron hands the locket over to you. Both of you do not understand Infernal, so you do not know what the rune says.
Do I recognize that it's infernal?
You probably would, Zielle. Theren probably wouldn't.
Headmistress, this doesn't... You've looked at this. This doesn't look like any child that you know.
Oh, the child inside is Felix. That is why I'm in concern. This was found on Cedric's body, and Felix has been known to carry the locket around for quite some time. Ever since he got here, it's like a prized possession to him. I believe this was no accident.
Believe so as well.
Who found the body?
Sadly, some of the children that were playing outside that day.
I was afraid so. And you know nothing of these marks.
I myself have tried to look into it, tried to decipher what this rune might be on the inside of the locket, but I have come to no conclusion. I just know what it is cannot be holy in any nature.
It is not holy. In fact, it's almost quite exactly the opposite, I would say. There's a chance he might not be himself right now. We would like to speak to him. Alone.
You should be able to find him upstairs. And he doesn't really come down and play with the others.
I think it's better if you keep an eye on the other children. A close eye while we do this.
Oh. If you insist, I can go look after them, read them a story. He's a young boy. I don't know what you expect him to do to you. Maybe 8, 10, we don't know.
It's not him I'm worried about.
I can escort you to the stairs, and I'll go into the living room if that works for you. Despite what the kids say about me, I care for these children deeply. It's hard being the only one running this place, and I do want to see them safe. I've been looking into it night and day. I know you haven't gotten the best impression of me so far, but I just wanted to set that straight, that these children and this orphanage is my world.
Next time I would start by reaching out to a priest or a doctor. I know you've got a lot on your hands, but there should not be any hesitation on this part.
That is my slip-up that I have to live with. Maybe I just didn't want to believe it was more than just rambunctious actions. She has to scoot her chair back a little bit in order to stand up with Theron's chair planted in front of her. She walks along the other side of the desk in a slight sense of fear, opens the door and gestures you out.
Did I notice before we left the office, just from my little look around, get her books or whatever she has on her shelves, was there anything noticeable, or it seemed pretty typical?
Let's do an investigation check.
It's a 12.
There were bookshelves while you were scouring the books over there. The residents of the orphanages over the years, potential applicants, families that they came from. And you did also notice one specific journal about Felix.
Did she walk us out, or were we in there when she
She
left?
gestured you out. If you would like to take it, let's do sleight of hand.
16 plus 3, that's a 19.
There we go. It is sandwiched. It's a smaller journal that you can see on the outside. There's a paper strapped to the outside, almost a makeshift spine of a book that just says Felix written in ink. Sandwiched between a couple other books as you're able to slide it out and just slip it in your bag as she is walking to the door, trying to not make eye contact with Theren, so her eyes are everywhere but the two of you currently. She goes in. The kids almost lull for a second before slowly starting to pick back up, seeing the presence of Miss Belasco as the double doors are shut behind her.
I'm going to give a little snap to bring Baron in front of me and get down on one knee. Keep an eye on her for me. Let me know if anything looks suspicious. Watch out for the kids.
Just a nod as Baron's form dissipates into mist, and you can see it wave through the air and begin to slip under the door to the living room.
This is really bad. This is fiend bad.
I don't know what that is, but I want to end it.
I've never encountered a fiend, luckily. Most would hope they never did. They're essentially, well, the definition of evil. They could be here of their own accord, or they could be summoned. They could be under the service of a deity or a archdemon, archdevil. I don't even know. It's all bad. It's all very, very bad.
Is it feeding on them? Is it feasting on these children?
I would suspect so. And I would like to pull out the journal so that we may have a look at it. I grabbed this from her office.
Theron's going to nod a little bit and be like, oh, and point at one random thing on there.
What'd he point at? What did he point at?
He pointed at parents.
Ah, right.
Zielle, as you open the journal, it is more so just sporadic notes written about Felix. Felix's name, quick description, parents, where he came from, the city of Kresk, as well as just brief interactions that he's had with other children. There's incidences of bullying, harassment, insults thrown about, and the most recent is the incident regarding Cedric on the second floor, where Cedric fell out the window, or at least so Felix said in his statement. Next to his parents, there is a note scratched in that they were both brutally murdered, and the killer was never caught.
Can you believe this?
Yeah. Pointing at that again.
Yeah, his parents. That's insane.
Yes, both of them.
He must be possessed. We might... Could I just examine the locket again? Can I activate my divine sense again, please? I get 3.
As you're scoping over the locket, This gold small locket on a short, thin chain. As you crack open the locket and the lid opens wide, you ask Sune for something. A sign, a warning, anything. As the locket begins to burn in your hands, and the eyes from Felix start to smoke, as an overwhelming sense of fiend comes over you. And we move to the boys in Walker House.
You fucking
The boys just so happen to be eating soup and going like this for some reason.
Hey, you guys prayed for us at dinner, right? Right?
No, not even a little bit. We're like, man, it's going great over there.
It's going
We
great.
have the hard job, is what Tannis has thought. He's like, man, I can't believe we took on the harder of these two tasks, the more dangerous of these two jobs.
As we move back to the dining room table in the Wachter house, Fiona leaned forward, head on her hands, and gazed into your eyes, Tannis. All I need is a blade. I have been spreading this prophecy to those who will listen. We've rallied others to the cause, those who have dealt with the Baron for long enough. They've been behind us for years, but now is the time. They know the outsider is officially within Valaki's walls, and they are ready to feel the sun bathe their skin for the first time. We fitted those with knives, swords, small crossbows, anything we could get their hands on, with the funds that we have at our disposal. The Festival of the Blazing Sun is where Vargas will be overthrown. Not just overthrown, but ridden from the earth. No longer will his words shiver the spine of Valakians. We have a tool, a weapon, an arcane bomb. Ernst has spent the last few months perfecting it, and all it takes is a spark. We want to plant the bomb within the Wicker Sun. When Vargas parades it around town, gets to the center of the town square, and lights it ablaze during the festival, during his grand speech, the sun will go up in flames, and so will he. That is the cue. We need you, Tannis. We need you, Alizzato. The bomb itself will take care of Vargas. And Vargas alone. My people will be spread throughout the crowds, hidden in the streets, waiting for the spark. My men will go after the pathetic guards that are scattered about the parade route. Now that is easy. Taking care of the Baron is easy. He's going to do it himself for us. Valaki only has a few set of guards, and we currently outnumber them. There is just one obstacle, however, that is quite the thorn in my side in this plan. Isaac. None of the civilians have what it takes to stand up to him, and sadly, neither do we. Can I trust you to take him down during the commotion? He should not be hard to find.
When you say the name Isaac, I think Tannis, the right corner of his mouth curls up into a smirk as he realizes 2 birds, 1 stone. I glance over to Alizzato with definitely a cocky expression. Looks Fiona straight in the eyes and nods. Consider him gone.
She looks at you, Alizzato.
I match Tannis's energy, I guess, but direct it to him, and then I just kind of like lean back in my chair and I go, Isaac has been some trouble for some time, and I am not the biggest fan. As Tannis said, we will make sure the ground remembers his name.
I knew I could count on the both of you, and I hope your friends feel the same.
Zielle, she is a lot of things. If violence is what you require, she will take every opportunity to avoid it. If there is a discussion that can happen, she'll find it. Theren? I think the word drips with a little more malice than he intends for it to. Is untested as far as I can tell, and has very little regard or understanding of strategic purpose. He's like a hammer with no hand, falling through the sky. You can pray it hits the nail, but odds are it just smashes your own finger. Alizzato, I understand, is quite the professional. I know I am quite the professional. Zielle and Theren have other gifts. Use them how you see fit.
Fiona, pardon me, as Tannis says this, did you mention exactly what it is that you wish to do with Zielle? Why do you hold her in such high regard for this uprising?
Her gaze goes from Tannis directly over to you, Alizzato, and without skipping a beat. First, there would be the coming of an outsider to Vallaki, foreign to this land. The coming of this outsider would mark the beginning of a new age in Vallaki. The coming of the outsider would also bring a great ruin, a purge on the town like none other. But when the ruin was done, the blood of the outsider would shed sunlight on Vallaki yet again. Spoken from Madame Ava's lips. You mean to tell me that a sun elf coming through the walls of Vallaki just in time for a plan of an uprising is any sort of coincidence?
Can you just...
What do you mean by blood?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't mean any harm to Zielle. We have no intention of harming Zielle in the slightest. We took it as her fighting along our side.
Can I, with an insight check, determine whether or not that's true?
Please.
That is a 21.
She is so focused on repeating these lines to Alizzato. This is what she truly believes. She feels that an outsider is meant to come and take place alongside her. She does not wish any harm upon Zielle, nor does she want any harm to come to Zielle during whatever uprising is planned. I have been spreading this prophecy for years. This is the right time. Given our ranks, Vallakians currently outnumber us 5-1, but Vallakians aren't fighters. They're cowards. Those who can stand up for themselves are on our side. The rest simply fear for their safety, their lives, and fear Strahd more than anything. We have no ill will towards anyone who chose their own peace over the cause. We want to avoid any and all civilian casualties, and merely take out the pests.
Might I suggest again avoiding the use of Theren as a tool?
And why's that?
He's unpredictable. Use him if there is need, but if your discretion is important, if you want precision, he's a blunt instrument with no guide.
Whether you hide it from the boy or not, I expect you two to help me. And you two to assist in getting Zielle as well. This Theren can do as he pleases. This plan is going down regardless. If you walk out those doors and you decide elsewhere that your allegiance wants to lie, all I ask is that you stay out of our way. This is going down with or without you, but I know we are guaranteed success if the Sun Elf is on our side. If that includes Theren, then we must take it. I don't care if something happens that we did not anticipate for. If it means we come out on top, we come out on top, and we deal with it after. When the Baron is in the ground, and Isaac, his head from his shoulders.
I like that. I like that very much. I think perhaps the conversation of Theren's involvement can be had outside of your lovely, lovely home. How about we engage further in this conversation? Zielle, are you having her be a symbol to the people, or are you saving her for an opportune moment? And will she be alone in this grand plan that you have?
Absolutely not. My hope was your entire group could take down Isaac, because I know we can't. What's more righteous and just than a sun elf, the beaming semblance of light, taking down the man scarred by a demon?
You want a show?
I want a show.
Well, then maybe Theren is your man. There's nothing he does that's not a show.
Then let's put on a display, shall we? And she claps her hands twice. From a wall behind the hearth slides open, revealing Ernst, coming from a secret room. The wall closes behind him, and he approaches the table. Sorry, I lied. I couldn't miss out on the conversation. And he plants a small, square, arcane device in the center of the table. You will plant the bomb.
Oh, this is now... No, Tannis, go ahead. I'd very much like to see Ernst explain this.
I was only going to ask why it is that if you have so many capable fighters and people in all the positions that you need them to be in, why is it that I find now we are the ones planting the bomb and killing Isaac? What exactly are your people doing, other than killing what you have described as ineffectual non-combatants?
Guards can fight. They've kept order around the town for as long as we can tell. Taking them down will be no easy feat for the people of Vallaki who have never picked up a sword once in their life. The only weapon they touch is the knife under their bed in hopes of the devil coming through their window. And even then, they wouldn't know how to wield the damn thing. So swarming a bunch of guards is a stronger feat than you can imagine.
Why not have Ernst put the device inside of the Wicker Sun?
Because Ernst, while being the little weasel he is, if he is seen anywhere around the streets and goes anywhere near the Wicker Sun, there will be questions. There will be questions if I go. There will be questions if my family goes. There will be questions if any civilian walks up. But it would be easier for strangers to walk up in their curiosities about the festivals that the Baron so happens to run.
You see that, Ernst? She called you a weasel.
I know I'm a weasel.
You know, Ernst, if I was picking an animal, I think I would choose the rat, not for you. Rats have a survival instinct, did you know that? Weasels don't. But thank you, Ernst, you've been tremendous. Listen, Fiona, I'm realizing now that this is less an ideological alliance and more of a practical one, because you can't accomplish this mission if we aren't present. And in that case, I'm absolutely willing to lend you my hand. Understand this, though, that if I lend you my assistance, and you decide for whatever reason that my assistance isn't worth as much as you thought it was before you've won, as it is after you've won, I will remain a tool, and the blade that helped you can end you. The same is true if I find out that you're lying about your intentions with Zielle.
I fully accept my fate.
Good. Alright. Well, okay. Then we'll plant a bomb, assassinate a mayor, kill a guard in broad daylight.
Easy enough. In the meantime, what I can offer you, until we take the town, is a place to stay. Ernst offered you food. I'm sorry that didn't hold up. But we did offer you weapons and lodging. It's one large shared room, so I apologize for that. But you have a place at Wachter House if you so need it. After the bomb is planted.
And Alizzato leans back on his chair and goes, now there we go.
Holding this arcane device and flipping around in my hand, there is one person particularly that I think could use your protection. They stay here before the bomb is planted, and you protect them with your life. And if that is upheld, then you get your city. Deal?
She stares at you. No smile. No frown. Emotionless. Deal.
I will stop spinning the arcane device, catch it, and I will put it into my messenger bag, cock an eyebrow as I nod. I should ask you, though, do you have any particular creature or anything less than human that you intend to unleash as a part of your plan?
No. If I did, I wouldn't need you.
I'll toss a glance over to Alizzato as she says that.
Breaking the silence, you see Jacob walk through the door once more, holding Tannis, your coat, and Alizzato, between his finger and his thumb, your leaf.
Beautiful.
Bring whoever it is that you need to stay here, whenever you see fit. They have a place with us. They have our safety. Our sex stockyard. You won't miss it.
I'll put on my coat, I don't think I'll look back. Leave the manor, and I'll wait for Alizzato just outside.
When I pick up the leaf from Jacob, I'll just kind of like hold it and I'll go,
Things wither and die. You know that, right? But thank you.
I'm glad that didn't.
and I make my way after Tannis. Before I leave, take one last look at Lady Fiona, and I'll take the soot that I have down my eyes and I'll rub it on my fingers, and I'll give her a nod, and then I'll walk out.
She peers you down, both of you, as you exit the manor, as you exit Wachter House.
Look, I'm all for the formalities, and your performance is quite elegant, and you really showcase some true vigor inside of there. But don't mock the boy when he's not present. I don't really necessarily care too fondly of what your relationship is with him, but at the end of the day, he is at your side. He is with Zielle right now, and you clearly care deeply for Zielle's well-being and her safety and all these things, and the boy is there with her. At least give him a fucking chance.
Alizzato, I appreciate it. My opinions will remain my own. And if you have a problem with my opinions, then you are all too capable of sharing your own. Do you hold a different opinion of Theren, based on your interactions?
I do this cocky-esque lean of the head, like I'm thinking about it.
I hold my own thoughts about Theren, Zielle, and you, Tannis. And let's not ruin the night, eh? It was good soup after all.
It was terrible soup.
Fucking terrible!
That was disgusting. That was the worst thing I've ever put into my mouth.
You had that as a child?
No, I didn't have that as a child. What that was a disgrace to my memories. That was an absolute nightmare. What I had as a child was a delightful dish that reminded you of home, that tasted like a fireplace, okay? It was beautiful. It was wonderful. Okay, that was disgusting.
You think Zielle's gonna go for it?
I think if Zielle thinks she has the chance to save people, yes. Theren is going to put up a fit, but I think at the end of the day, he will follow the group. Listen, Alizzato, I appreciate that you are a better person than me. My fears about Theren are well-founded. He's hot-headed, he's brash, and he is not subtle. Nothing about him is subtle. Not his magic, not his tactics, not his words, not his intentions. If we are hoping to overthrow a power that has been here for a long time, with what is obviously a very capable paramilitary force, then we have to be precise. Theren couldn't even plaster on a smile at the parade. I admit I am not the person you want in a charismatic endeavor. However, Theren finds a way to make himself a difficult obstacle in both charismatic and physical endeavors. I have my personal reasons for disliking Theren that came after a point at which I trusted Theren in a way that I trusted very few people. That is a personal opinion, I admit. My problems with Theren are my own. The fact that he called me a creature, that is something I will carry. The fact that he wouldn't talk to me about calling me a creature, that is my burden to bear it.
I'll look at you when you say that.
And what are you holding, Tannis? Why so upset about a name?
What's in a name, Alizzato? Everything. I'm upset because I recognize truth. I sacrificed so much in an attempt to gain freedom, Alizzato. And now I realize I've sacrificed it in a way that is impossible for me to comprehend. And if you can imagine realizing that that is true, and then looking at the person standing by your side and watching them call you a creature, then maybe you can understand why that's so deeply painful. But my point is not to wallow in my own pain. My point is that objectively, Theren is not an assassin. If I were fighting on a battlefield, Theren would be the first person I drafted. but we're not. This is a war in the shadows. The fight against Isaac evidently is a show to which I am willing to throw Theren headfirst, because Theren will make it a show. He doesn't know anything else.
All right, let's meet up with them. Check in on the situation. Hopefully they're still alive.
But when I walk, I turn around like a more brown, slightly dried up leaf falls from my shoulder and falls to the ground, but I don't sort of take notice. I just keep walking ahead.
Tannis will take a deep breath, curse under his breath, before walking after Alizzato.
As the two of you make your way towards the center of town, finishing a intriguing yet somewhat tense meal with Fiona Wachter, you do hear a bit of a commotion coming from the town square. People filled with joy, clapping, laughing excitedly, and you start to see people running out of their houses to join. Forced smiles on their faces again. As you make your way to the center of the town, these stalks are off the stage. But what does sit atop the stage? Somewhat of a gallows. You see a man being dragged up the stairs by Isaac as a group is gathered, cheering, clapping, ruckus about, as Isaac stomps up the stairs, clutching this man, dragging him by the scruff of his chest with the large, muscular crimson red arm, before he grabs his hands and wrings them above his head, hanging from the gallows, his feet still on the stage. Come one, come all. Let us have a show. This, everyone, you all know, this is what happens when you have an unregistered weapon within Valachian walls. He raises a dagger high in the air, steel, as the crowd goes wild. This man on stage, his shirt riding up as his arms are tied and bound together, held above the gallows, as Isaac is making an entire show, encouraging the crowd, getting cheer after cheer, as he walks across, taking the dagger, and slices a small, thin line across the man's stomach. We have rules here. Everyone follows the rules, and you know what happens when they are broken. Don't you? As he grasps the man's head with his demon hand and forces him to look at Isaac in the face. As his hand begins to erupt slowly in flame, one by one, taking each strand of this man's beard along with it. It is time! As he wields a large steel great axe with one hand off of his back. In one fell swoop, he takes it where the line was drawn with the dagger across the man's stomach, winds back, and with ease, like butter, cuts this man in two. His legs fall to the floor as his entrails slowly follow, slopping and making a mess of the stage in the center square. Welcome! We have another great parade for you in just a few days. But I hope this tides you all over until then, and let it be known what happens if you break the Baron's rules. And bows to the crowd, erupting in applause. And for today, that's a wrap.
Get that, Ryan!
Oh.
If evil, why hot?
Oh, thank you all for joining us here today on another wonderful, happy episode of Nocturne. I hope y'all are ready for the next episode, both of you groups.
I feel like there might be some combat.
We will see y'all in 2 weeks to see if they fight the Fiend, and if the other two can plant a fucking bomb.
Oh my god!
We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Just bye. Bye. Bye, everybody.